Hello everyone, this is Sanjay Solanke from Homeopathy for Humanity, and today we are on the next part of Organon with Aphorism 41. And over to you, Tipua.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so we're on Aphorism 41 today. We're going to talk about the medicinal disease.
So, can you start screen share or you have something in the introductory part to say
Go
about
ahead and screen share.
it? Okay.
Okay, so much more frequent than the natural diseases associated with and complicating one another in the same body are the morbid complication resulting from the art of the ordinary practitioner, which the inappropriate medical treatment, the allopathic method, is apt to produce by the long continued employment of unsuitable drugs. Okay, so Hahnemann's saying here that we very, very frequently will find people that have what's known as a medicinal disease. And these things happen when medicine is given in a non-homeopathic method, and it creates an additional disease in the body. And you see this word morbid complication means disease. Morbid applies to things like death, suffering. And so he's saying from the ordinary practitioner. Now, unfortunately, this can happen with homeopaths as well by using too many doses, particularly of the wrong medicine. Okay, the long continued employment of unsuitable drugs. Okay, to the natural disease, which it is proposed to cure, there are then added, by the constant repetition of the unsuitable medical agent, the new, often very tedious, morbid conditions corresponding to the nature of this agent. These gradually coalesce with and complicate the chronic malady which is dissimilar to them, which they were unable to cure by similarity of action, that is, homeopathic. Okay, so what Hahnemann's saying here is that medicine is given and it's intended to cure, but it's given over and over and over again, and it can create this new unsuitable medicine can create a very tedious. When something's tedious, it's something that's like really long lasting and it just goes on and on. And morbid condition again means disease state. And it corresponds to the nature of this agent. And these gradually come together and complicate the chronic malady, which is dissimilar, which we're unable to cure by similarity of action, that is, homeopathically, adding to the old disease a new, dissimilar, artificial malady of a chronic disease, and thus give the patient a double in place of a single disease, that is to say, render him much worse and more difficult, often quite incurable. So Hahnemann's saying here that after we've seen somebody who's taken a bunch of non-homeopathic medicines, can mean a lot of different things. This can be anything from herbs to pharmaceuticals. And he's saying that this can create what's known as an artificial disease that sits alongside the natural disease, complicates it, and makes it more difficult to cure. So if somebody's been taking a lot of herbs or pharmaceuticals, they're can be lasting effects from that treatment. We see that in a lot of different types of treatments where there are unintended effects that come in during the treatment that were not wanted. Okay, many of the cases for which advice is asked in medical journals, as also the records of other cases in medical writings, attest to the truth of this. And we see this on a regular basis if we read regular medical journals. People will talk about, okay, they've given Lipitor, and what do we do with the side effects? We give a new drug, right? So whenever somebody's having allopathic treatment or herbal treatment or whatever the treatment may be, they're looking at different ways to counter the side effects. Let's say somebody's on a psychiatric drug, an antipsychotic. Now, one of the worrisome side effects of an antipsychotic medicine is something called tardive dyskinesia, which is similar to Parkinson's disease. Therefore, as a preventive measure, all allopaths, all psychiatrists are now giving anti-dopamigenic drugs in order to try to prevent this side effect for the psychiatric drug. Or you have people who are taking other psychiatric drugs who, if they're having sexual function problems, then the doctor will say, well, here, have some Viagra to go with this. So whenever there are strong drugs given, there are often collateral effects, side effects, that people then will be given other drugs in order to try to counteract that. And that's basically what Hahnemann's talking about here, but I'm just trying to add a new spin on it. Somebody's taking chemotherapy, they have nausea, so now they have a ton of anti-nausea drugs. Okay, so then let's continue with the aphorism. Of a similar character are the frequent cases in which the venereal cankerous disease, complicated especially with spora, or with the venereal cankerous disease, complicated especially with spora, or with
1 minute.
dyscrasia, of condylomatous gonorrhea. Okay, remember Hahnemann has like 2 different things here that he lumps under psychosis: the genital warts and the common gonorrhea. And there's 2 different treatments for each. The genital warts require thuja and nitric acid, and the common gonorrheas, things like sarsaparilla, parsley, cannabis, those drugs. Okay, so there's those 2 different things I'll say. So anyway, of a similar character, when somebody has a venereal disease and they have spora, and then they have long and frequently repeated treatments with chemical medicines or herbal medicines, or in this instance, in the aphorism, mercury, that it creates a hideous monster of complicated disease under the general name of masked venereal disease, which then, when not quite incurable, can be transformed into health with the greatest difficulty. So Hahnemann's saying that it's very difficult when people have had a lot of medication to get a full cure. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. And here's the footnote. For mercury, besides the morbid symptoms, which by the virtue of similarity can cure the venereal disease homeopathically, has among its effects many others, unlike those of syphilis. For instance, swelling and ulceration of bone, which, if it can be employed in large doses, causes new maladies. Remember, maladies mean sicknesses, and commit great ravages in the body, that it's very destructive. He's mentioning here, he's saying that the use of straight up mercury is, can really ravage, take apart, destroy the body, especially when complicated with spora, as is so frequently the case. So here a little review. More often than the natural complex disease is the morbid complication that can happen with an unsuitable allopathic treatment. Many times, strong drugs, operations, etc., will create another sickness that is very tedious, makes people suffer, is long-lasting, chronic, uncomfortable, and difficult to cure. And then quoting Hahnemann again, it often forms a hideous monster of complicated disease. And this is something that the homeopath has to think about. What are the symptoms that have been created by the treatment that your patient's been on recently, or over the last few years, or perhaps decades? Which are the drug symptoms and which are the natural symptoms? Now, what we actually do is we just lump those all together. If we can't, remove the things, they still might be lasting. We put the drug symptoms with the natural symptoms, and we just treat the whole thing together. That's what we really do in real life.
Lakshmikant?
Sir, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, hello.
Good evening, madam.
Yep, so here we are with the medicinal disease.
Do you have any question?
No question, sir.
Jain, sir.
Unsuitable allopathic or other treatment can create a medicinal
What is,
disease.
how we can say non-homeopathic medication? What is non-homeopathic medication?
So should I try to explain this?
Yeah,
So whenever any prescription is made without matching totality or without considering the cardinal principle. For example, as we know that hazardous dose of every allopathic medicine is injurious. In the same way, large dose of homeopathic medicine can also be injurious.
yeah.
If homeopathy is deviated from the path of individualization. For example, some physicians prescribe their favorite remedies only. And there are so many mongrel sects. That type of prescription may be called non-homeopathic.
Yes, medicinal disease can happen with homeopathic treatment as well if we are not careful.
Right.
But it's very, very common to produce a medicinal disease of some variety with allopathy or with strong herbs. For example, I'll just give a very, very common example. A woman goes to the doctor, she is sick with, let's say, bronchitis. The doctor gives antibiotics, and then she ends up with a vaginal infection. This would be a form of medicinal disease. It was caused by the medicine. So that altering of the microbiome is in itself a medicine. And there's a 10,000 different ways we can get a medicinal disease from using medicine that changes the chemistry of the body or adds new symptoms, its side effects, all these things sometimes will last.
Yeah. Here I would say one line said by my teacher of Organon in Hindi that कौवा चला हंस की चाल अपनी भी भूल गया. Because many homeopaths are those who are trying. Let's say there was a bridge course. I've heard about a bridge course where homeopaths can prescribe allopathic medicine. But if homeopath will prescribe allopathic medicine, that is surely be fatal. That without having the knowledge of the pharmacodynamics of allopathy or the mode of action, we are prescribing that. If we will deviate from homeopathy, that's a very not homeopathic. We may call that stabbing on the back of homeopathy.
Okay, anybody have anything else to say about this aphorism? Or are we all set?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. We should focus on our part, the right homeopathy. What others are doing, let us leave that. And let us learn in a precise and proper manner so that at least we can justify ourselves in prescribing, and the result, basically the result tells that whether you have done good or not. So
Yep, very good.
let us learn precisely our science in more better and better manner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're trying to do here.
And
Yeah.
unless we know what is right and what is wrong, it will be quite difficult to understand on what path we are walking on, right or wrong.
And sir, we must also keep in mind our limitations also.
Mhm.
As Stott clause, as clearly mentioned, that efficacy of homeopathic treatment accessible only to, I don't remember the exact line, but he meant to say we should, for applying homeopathy, we should know the plan on which the law of similage is acting. We must
See,
know both limitations.
You should-
I have a little different opinion with this, the limitations. I have seen various types of cases where I have learned only one thing, that we have a limitation. Homeopath may have limitations. This science doesn't have any limitation. Leave the surgical cases. If you talk about the disease or any kind of disease, whether it is natural or unnatural or iatrogenic or whatever kind, if we follow the principles, we can do, I think we can do everything. So, and by seeing and having the experiences in various types of cases, having starting from simple coryza to malignancies to genetic and mutational disorders, I have learned only this thing, that homeopaths may have limitations. Homeopathy is limitless.
Yeah, I
But
tend to
I
agree with you because,
every
I
science
mean,
has its
barring
area of
something
scope.
like a car accident where there's immediate assistance that is required on a surgical level, so many things can be achieved with the aid of the homeopath without entering into the realm of surgery. I totally
Ma'am,
agree with you.
Yeah,
Ma'am, I think rather than applying homeopathy at the areas other than its scope, we must focus on applying homeopathy in the areas of its scope. मीन्स अगर हमें होम्योपैथी को ऐसी जगह पे अप्लाई करना चाहिए यहाँ पे होम्योपैथी का स्कोप है जिन चीजों के लिए होम्योपैथी बनी है because every science has different aspects. Every science, no science is free of limitation. Allopathy has its own limitation and homeopathy has its own limitation.
that is what I'm
Science
saying.
has
Homeopathy doesn't have limitations if we understand it precisely properly. We may have limitations after having a few experiences in different cases, various types of cases. Let me tell you about a case where a baby of few months old used to develop ashes on his skin just at the midnight. Just at the midnight, almost every midnight, that baby used to have ashes as if something has been burned. Nobody could explain what is happening to this person. And after understanding, I don't know what, one of my colleagues, he prescribed phosphorus and that disappeared. Later on, it was probably diagnosed that this baby may be having hypermitochondrial reactional disorder.
Recording in progress.
And in another case, which is of mine, that person was having a typical disorder where his clothes, his undergarments used to burn in patches, not the shirt, not the trouser, but undergarments used to have burned patches as if the part of the cloth has been burnt. Nobody was having any explanation except as in India, people used to have that opinion that this may be some paranormal activity. And that patient also recovered, I would say recovered fully because this is around 30 years old. He recovered from this after phosphorus. And again here, if we understand properly, it is hypermitochondrial reaction, that too in fragmentary part of the body. This can be only the explanation which I have. And there may be some other, I don't know. So in such cases, it is not the limitations of homeopathy. It is limitations of our knowledge, our understanding. If we can have understanding in certain cases, miracles happens. So after having some such experiences, I usually say we may have limitations, homeopaths may have limitations. This science is limitless. So the more we study, the more we have experiences. Maybe this phrase and that homeopath have limitations, homeopathy is limitless. Everybody may accept like this, but depends on experiences. Others, please.
Yes, sir.
Totally agreed with your statements, sir. 100%. Homeopathy having no limits, but homeopaths do. And
Dr.
as we
Dr.
increase,
Lakshmikant, Dr. Lakshmikant,
yes,
may I add one more experience? Generally, we say that uh, we don't usually see emergencies. Um, I have seen some emergency in my case too. I have a heart disorders, and at times I used to develop anginal pains. How much the last time our seminar, our this discussion was on how fast our medicines act, how far we can get the relief. I was not there on that day, but I used to have angina pains. When I understood how much time the medicine takes to give the relief, in my experience, it is less than 10 seconds. It is not only the it is not even the
Yes, sir.
sorbitrate or monotrates which gives the result. In my case, it is less than 10 seconds. I just put the medicine on my tongue, turn and sits on my chair. Before I sit on my chair, pain disappears.
Agree.
Yes, sir. One of the
Agree.
stalwart like store closure said that our medicines act like bullet train, but if selected on the
Yes.
basis of totality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Miraculous. Miraculous. By the like a lightning way speed, it will act. It starts working. It starts working.
And in our today, in one of the group, some discussion was going on writing a name of medicine on piece of paper and putting that piece of paper on water bottle or something. And does that give any result or not? I have at least 50 experiences from that kind of prescription, more than 50. Some of my patients, those who knows this, they say, sir, tell the name of medicine. We will write that name on the piece of paper. Either we'll put in the water or stick on the bottle. We will drink and we know that we will be all right. It's more than 50 times. So that too, I
Will it
don't know
be
how that works. I don't know how this works. But later on, when I realized, when I tried to understand the quantum physics, there are certain laws of quantum physics. They explains how this writing name of medicine on piece of paper and that gives result. How that gives result? It the explanation is there in the quantum physics. NASA has experimented few
The
and they got
quantum,
it.
this is a process is a quantum entanglement
Yeah, you're right that. You're
because the
right that.
homeopathy is totally based on the quantum physics because the it's
It's
a not the
vibrational.
nanoparticle. We are the proving on the medicine the wave form, electromagnetic waves. So it is a
It is
duality in
no,
nature. So it is a term.
it is even beyond. It is on photons.
Yeah,
It
photons
is
is a
on photons.
kind of the nature. One is the particle and
Right.
one is the wave nature. So it is a totally wave.
You're right. You are right. You are right. So it acts on both.
Yeah. When you see that, then it's a particle. When without the seeing, it is a right of the quantum physics. That's why the in the Hindus are duality key, a key singular. That's why the our but it is a quantum physics,
yesterday?
not the nanoparticles totally. Our medicine is not the nanoparticle, beyond the nanoparticle.
You're right, ma'am.
Yesterday I couldn't attend
I,
that seminar,
Mhm.
but I do not have any really such sort of experiment, and I do not know any experiences also. When I heard about that few years ago, totally I do not understand, and I couldn't agree that also. But as you people are experiencing, I need to check it once. And I feel first time when I heard about this, it is nothing but stupidity. Now you people are telling
Initially,
that
initially
you
this
people are
thought
you
may
people
come.
are experiencing,
Mhm.
and what happened? One case study was I come across through Facebook. That gentleman for postpartum hemorrhage, he has
Mhm.
prescribed some rare medicine. It could be thalassemia or some other medicine. As he does not
Therapy
have that
bursa
medicine,
stories.
that some medicine, some hemorrhagic drug, as he is not
Ah,
having that
that is
drug.
Therapy bursa stories.
Yes, 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 sir. Yes, yes. What he did is the same thing. He wrote the name on the paper and he put in the glass upon that and he waited for some time. Then he started giving few drops of that water to the patient and he claimed that bleeding was stopped.
Wasn't that Richard Moskowitz?
Pardon me, madam.
Sorry.
Isn't that Richard Moskowitz that wrote about that in his book?
I couldn't remember exactly. It was very few years ago.
I think it might have been Richard Moskowitz because he had a whole book about his transition into homeopathy and how he worked in the OBGYN field and how he started attending home birth. And he had a story where he did not have cinnabaris, but he wrote it and put it underwater and gave it to the woman who was hemorrhaging and the hemorrhaging stopped. So yes, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Now, my
Even
question
I
is,
don't have such
my-
experience. So I cannot claim like that.
and I have another fear and another doubt also that already these allopathic doctors are looking for some opportunities to blame us, to criticize us, if possible, to downsize the homeopathy. Such practices without having proper reason, proper statistical cases, evidence, and practical a lot to prove this. How can we claim? And I have a fear also that they will laugh at us. I do not know how to prove. Could you
No,
please explain
you are
somebody?
you are right, Dr. Lakshmi.
Yeah.
See, let me tell you one thing. These people, they are unite. They are strong enough to ridicule our experiences in such a manner that we feel that we are down. But when something happens to them, when they need some help, they just keep quiet. Ki, boss, give me some medicine so that I can feel all right. And when we say, yeah, but what did you say in that case? Relieve that, yeah. That was something else. Let me have relief. Let me tell you a case of yesterday's of mine. That patient comes from 700 kilometers from my place. She had in January gallstones, multiple gallstones, and one was obstructed in this CBD or neck of the bladder, gallbladder. There was multiple gallbladders, multiple gallstones. The radiologist who examined, who did CT scan, and he said there are more than 8 stones in the gallbladder and one is at the neck. She asked me on telephone, what should I do? I suggested her some medicine. When she took medicine for it for just two days, the pain started decreasing. It was episodic, or you can say it was spasmodic at times. She was operated within 48 hours because of her some parameters which were not normal. She was in the hospital and doctor said you have to be operated. But she took medicine for 2 days, and before operation, he said, you please do my CT scan once again. There was only one stone in the neck of the bladder, rest of the stones, where they gone, that patient doesn't know and neither the radiologist. Then radiologist doubted on his previous report that I might have committed some mistake. He was not ready to accept that they disappeared.
Possible.
It is just yesterday.
Quite interesting.
So they ridicule us
There is
in some other manner.
And
They
we
don't
cannot
accept.
prove. We cannot prove that that is our drug effect also. How can we prove it?
No, no, I don't agree. We
The
can prove
patient,
nowadays.
the patient,
Uh,
see, the patient has taken only this medicine, nothing else. See, proving, see, the
one
thing
more
is,
thing. One
we,
more thing, sir.
they are proving on the basis of substance. Our medicine is substanceless.
Exactly. 1 minute.
And
I will
up
show you
till now,
one
we
thing,
don't
sir.
have we don't have such instruments who can prove substanceless things. The
So,
moment we will have instruments, our therapy, everything will be proved.
sorry, I interrupted you. One man, I forgot the name, who before that he proved, but nowadays is the physicist. Hindi, I can explain in the Hindi.
Yeah, yeah,
Please.
sure. But maybe Tikwa may not understand Hindi.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, I will.
Use
Means
Hindi.
one physicist अभी वायरस के लिए आया था तो उन्होंने दे आर पीसीआर मशीन they prove the date क्या how to medicine work on the 30 potency.
Mhm,
There is a song.
mhm.
Forgot the name. I sent a pic on the group. They
Right.
prove they how to matlab generally they prove the medicine 1 year and then the other faculty how to prove the medicine, how to work in the electromagnetic wave. Nowadays we can prove our medicine also because
One
it's
Yeah,
more
based on the
thing, one more thing I would like to tell. The ways, even Dr. Jain also has mentioned the ways they wanted to prove homeopathy with their terms.
Mhm.
Actually,
yeah.
this is issue. And a
Mm.
long time back, there was a quote I read from Einstein. You can read this one. Very interesting.
Mhm.
Can you read it?
Everyone is a
Genius. If you judge a
everyone is
fish on
genius,
its
but if you judge on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is. You are right, Dr. Sanjay.
What this means that homeopathy has its own ways. Allopathy has its own ways. Material world has its own ways. You cannot
Right,
judge material with
right,
this ways, and you cannot
right,
judge
right. You
homeopathy with
you
in the.
you have to judge one thing by
You
the
have to
same way.
walk. No, yeah, you have
Yes,
to walk in the same shoes.
right. Absolutely right. I agree with you, sir.
So you cannot prove homeopathy in the allopathic way, and
Yes, because the
Mhm.
you cannot think allopathy in the homeopathic way.
be-
true,
because allopathy is the based on
true.
the materialistic is a till
So
now the nanoparticle, but even though they are the believe on the particles, but the homeopathy
No,
believe
things
on the
are
no,
energy when it
you
turn into energy. That is
Dr.
the part.
Sandhya, things are changing very fast. Things are changing very fast. The new concepts which are coming up, even these other people, they are not taking up the new research material. They are still teaching the same what was taught 50 years ago in the medical colleges around the world. They are teaching the same way, though the new research is totally different. As far as genetics is concerned, epigenetics is concerned, new research tells something very different, but they teach the same. They don't
Yeah.
take up the new things.
Yeah.
They
So
are
many
afraid
things
of
are
it.
outdated.
They are
But
afraid of it.
I read the in the Organon Sarkar book. There is
Hmm,
a one part when the metaphysical. Then I
mhm,
read 432, I think page number.
mhm, mhm,
They concept the dynamization theory in the two part. One is the science view and second is the metaphysical view.
mhm, mhm.
It is a very good.
Um,
Send
There
those
is
pics also, madam.
mhm.
I will send because
You
I
remember
working on
how
the research on the this topic.
you remember how when we were young, they used to say that when brain cells would die, that that was it and there would be no regenerated brain cells? Well, everybody knows that that's not true anymore. Everybody knows
No,
that brain cells regenerate now.
Tikwa,
Everybody
Tikwa,
knows.
Tikva, if I'm allowed to share one experience, we'll share the whole total case in some other time. In a case of um, CPMR child, the brain scan was showing that certain parts of the brains are soft or atrophied. After 2 years of medication, couple of a week or two before, the new scan was taken and the total brain appears absolutely normal.
Mhm.
The changes disappeared. It is
Yeah,
on record. We'll share some other time. So that means the medicine have potential to regenerate even the
definitely.
neurons.
Absolutely.
So it is
I,
there.
I do have one. Yes, doctor. Now, survival of homeopathy concern, you see, most advanced countries like US, FDA denying homeopathy. Australia banned homeopathy.
No, there
And
are
so many UK,
many of
NHS,
Dr. Lakshmi. There are many of my patients are in
NHS,
Australia.
NHS,
They are getting medicines over there
NHS,
without. Acha.
NHS stopped giving funds to the government homeopathy. Like that, in spite of most advanced scientifically countries, those who could do lot of research and prove all these things, they couldn't do anything favoring homeopathy. Now, the biggest task in India, how could we make it survive in homeopathy? Next, their target is in India. The allopathic mafia started attacking in nonsense articles in books and many literature and their journals. Their derogatory articles are being published. We must be noticing that how we could attack them, how could protect homeopathy. We need, see, like those technical words and those technicalities being a homeopath, I do not know. I know homeopathy works basing upon the symptom similarity. And I am dare enough to take up a case to the possible extent without any side effects. I could treat, but that is not enough to prove homeopathy technologically. They need
Uh,
all the data. Some, Madam said, as Dr. Sanjay said, some physicist theory or some so-called scientific data. All these things are required. Where we could get that? Where could we get those funds? And who is supporting us? And the government also not having a good support towards homeopathy. So in such crucial circumstances, how would we fight to favor the homeopathy? Really bothering me. Any comments? Anybody?
you
Please.
Dr.
can search
Lakshmi,
in the
results will tell us. Results will show the efficacy. Cases will show the efficacy.
No,
We may not
problem.
have.
What
We may.
Dr. Lakshmi Kant has, what he says, result is not a issue. We can give result. We know it works, but how we can prove, how we can tell
Yes.
the other
Yes. Yes.
scientific world in their own ways, the ways they
Yes.
understand.
As
one
somebody
video.
said that, as somebody said
Yes.
that any therapeutic system which stands against the test of the time is definitely acceptable, and homeopathy last 200 years it is been stood against the test of the time. We all know that homeopathy works, and some part of allopathic brethren people also know that homeopathy, if it is establishes well, we can't stand against that. So that their fear is turning towards opposing us, and they want to destroy in toto the homeopathy in the world. So
Uh,
these attempts
The,
are going on. That's what is
Sir,
my worry. How
I
could I
will
do what
provide
I
the
do?
some video. Even the Dr.
Yes.
K.K. Agrawal is also favor of the homeopathy, and he also I have a video and I made a thesis on the that one, And the one is the water memory on the, if you will write on the water memory in the YouTube, you can get, I will share the link on the that one. There is a proving. They prove the how
That's
to
what,
homeopathy work.
that's what is the some I do not remember that name who challenged us about the water memory to prove, and he's going to pay $10,000 something. Nobody is answered so far. All these derogatory workings are there in the YouTube and Facebooks. Still, nobody has taken that challenge. He's
No,
challenging us.
he got the Nobel Prize, sir. He got the
I
Nobel
don't know.
Prize. I will share the all the detail on the group.
Please, madam, please.
I will share, sir, because
There
I'm
is.
working on this process. That's
Mhm.
why, because I am pharmacy teacher, and when I will read the pharmacology, then I the dynamic plan, then astral body, then I thought ki what is the where is the working on, because then I got the video some. This is quantum physics. That's why I'm telling the entanglement.
Yeah. The moment you spoke the word entanglement, I understood that you have read certain other things. The Japanese doctor, Dr. Emoto, he has experimented so many times for more than 15 years on water molecule. So it is there on YouTube and on Google about this, the hidden mystery of water by Dr.
Yeah, there's
Emoto.
another woman
Wilowsky
who's
करके,
doing
I thought
similar
that John
experiments.
Wilowsky is the first. When the when some James Flaherty is the against of the death process. Then again the proof
Mhm.
the I forgot the name. I will share the video. Who
Please share.
got the Nobel Prize?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a
Whenever
woman named
possible, please.
Vega who's doing something similar, where she's
I
saying
will share.
various
I
things
make
to
a
water
one
and freezing it the same way
thesis
Emoto
on
did.
the is a PhD doctor, Dr. Nader करके. He is also believing on the consciousness and the different thing. So we can prove now.
The drug mafia will oppose definitely, because their interests are, they are losing their interest. They will definitely oppose. The cancer drug mafia, they will definitely oppose
Yeah, Dr.
homeopathy
B.M. Hedge
because
is also saying that same thing.
yeah.
It is
Yeah.
cardiologist.
Yeah, I know Dr. B.M. Hegde. I have met him once personally. So he
It
speaks
is so much
bluntly
following on
and
the
ha, but he is only one person. They are
hey,
saying so.
Dr. K.K. Agrawal. One
Yeah.
maker, Dr. Haniman is
Basically,
the one person who changed the world. So it is a easy. If we can't say that one person is not changed the world.
basically, we should make homeopathy uh, practice. A good homeopathic should be practiced by all homeopaths.
Very challenging task that it is. Basically, students
Then
are
if so,
not being
listen.
taught in the college, and if you see and go to the college, we really regret to see these students how they are making, and not even
So
a newly passed out candidate also not interested to learn proper homeopathy. Even though
exactly.
we
You're
are
right.
ready to teach, they are not ready to
You are right.
take it.
Dr.
Basically,
Lakshman, you are
the
right.
issue is that
Yes,
our own people are opposing us. Our
yes.
Yeah.
own people are spoiling homeopathic image.
I can take the name of the eminent person of Indian. This they are on the very big post in India. They themselves oppose us. They don't want to
Yes.
see the things rightly. If at all they have the results, they will speak in private, but they won't show it on the desk of government. They won't show it. There are many people. They come to our camps and classes and seminars. When they see the result, they appreciate. But whenever they are on general platform, they don't speak. research is needed, proper research and data is needed. Proper research and data, the machines are different. We need different machineries and different tools. In time things will
We
change.
should no, actually, unless and until our education system changes, nothing is
Mhm.
going to change.
Yeah.
And
That's what
That
Dr.
we need good homeopaths. We need we don't need that different methods. Unless and until we prove ourselves as what you call what is that word? People?
uh, we prove ourselves result oriented people, result oriented doctors.
No, not result oriented people. You should be firm on your principles.
Mhm.
See, what is difference between rules and principles? Rules will change. Principle will never change. And homeopathy
Right.
has principle. It is based on principle, not rules. So
Sir,
they will not change. Unless and until we
true,
believe on our principles, nobody is going to believe on us.
true, sir, true, agreed. But the thing is, practically speaking, those who are coming out of the college,
They are bad
they want to get,
homeopaths.
settled. They want to get a good pocket full of income, which is not happening initially by homeopathic practice. They are being carried over to the allopathic hospital as a duty doctor or some other doctor, and they are getting a pocket full of 50K or 70K in some hospitals, which definitely a new homeopathic doctor cannot earn in the initial few years. And once they are tasting that energy of that money, and once they started sitting in the homeopathy practice, when they are not able to find out that much of income flow, and they are switching over to the easy methods and they want instant money. This is the practical problem going on, which I come across through
And
my young students. And
allopath will pay as much as large amount of money to homeopaths in their
and they know
hospitals.
that
And they will, yeah.
they can stick back to the allopathic hospital. They take over all the responsibilities of the duty doctor better than allopathic doctor. And no allopathic doctor can be with them for longer time, and because they want to settle or they want to go to higher studies. So homeopathy doctor only sitting and taking care of the entire responsibility of the hospital. But they never agree that he could do practically better than a more or less equal to a allopathic doctor. But they are not agreeing. And there is a IMA has produced one rule that no homeopathic doctor should be posted in allopathic hospitals or ICUs. They know that, but they are utilizing them as all our people, because
Right.
they do know better than better knowledge in surgery, surgical science, medical science, practice of medicine. All these knowledge on par with allopathic students, homeopathic students could stand, and they are taking the responsibility. Most of their diagnoses are being correct, and they are on par equal to an MBBS doctor in diagnosing the case. Apart from them, they have solutions. Learning allopathy is very easy. Apart from that, they could give some solutions in homeopathy too. They know that, but they are not accepting. Their allopathy, homeopathy doctors are being treated as a second-rated people. In spite of knowing that, because of the money which is been attracting them towards allopathic hospitals, and it is not happening in own homeopathy clinics. That's why they are going away from homeopathy, I believe. How could we make them to stay back in homeopathy? That's what is the biggest query.
Knowledge.
your
Knowledge.
opinions, please. Your opinions, please. This is
Actually,
really what is happening, sir.
Actually, they lack knowledge. They lack curiosity to make people curious about homeopathy. They are bad
That should
teachers. They are bad teachers in the colleges. And
that should happen. That should happen even
Yeah.
from the college itself. In the fourth, third year colleges itself, they should be able to expose the miraculous cures of the homeopathy, and a new budding homeopath could earn homeopathy bread and butter through homeopathy. We need to teach them, and we need to make them to stand on the lines of homeopathy. Then only homeopathy could survive in India, at least. That's what I believe practically, sir. Yeah, please correct me if I am wrong.
you are right, sir. We have issue at institution level. The
Which is
institution
not, which is not
actually,
under our control. Which is not under
yeah,
our control.
See,
government should take charge of all this institution, and they should take all the qualified teachers based on their knowledges.
can I share my feeling?
Yes, yes,
When
yes, please.
100 years before, when there were very few doctors of homeopathy, many of them may not be from the medical side, and some from allopathic side, they converted and they became
Many,
homeopaths.
many of them.
Many. And they were giving so much, so good results. It was beyond even present day imaginations. That time, this issue was not there. Giving, having, earning bread and butter or something, this issue was not there. I've seen, not, I heard about my teacher's teacher. He was from West Bengal. His name is Dr. Gyan Majumdar. He was MBBS, MD, FRCS, something like that. His introduction was like this. I am Dr. Gyan Majumdar, MBBS, MD, FRCS, LRCP, never stood second. His introduction was like that. He was colleague of Dr. B.C. Roy, who was then Chief Minister of West Bengal. B.C. Roy used to send patients to Gyan Majumdar for diagnosis. And he used to say, don't take his medicine. Dr. Gyan Majumdar was basically allopathic doctor, converted to homeopathy by having a difficulty in solving one case of malaria. His father, he took that patient to his father, Dr. P.C. Majumdar. P.C. Majumdar thought that he must be testing us. He gave one dose of Merxol 30 and malaria, which he was unable to give result in 6 months, that disappeared by just one dose of Merxol 30. That changed the mind of Dr. Gyan Majumdar. He just turned, stopped allopathic practice, started studying homeopathic literature. In 6 months or so, he took admission in the college for proper study, and after within 3-4 years, he started practicing to that extent that around 40 years before, he was having 25 assistants in his clinic. Can you imagine? 25 assistants in his clinic, those who are seeing every day 3 to 4 new cases, and he was just watching and prescribing the things. So in those days, this fear was not there that homeopathy will survive or not, because that was in the hands of very much qualified, knowledgeable, experienced people. Now the mob has come by seeing those results. Now this mob is unable to learn, or we don't have good teachers to teach them. Because of that, these problems are coming up, and mob need results in mobic way. It is not in precise way. That's why the issue is there. In those days, it was not there. We had one doctor in my place 30-40 years before. He was single homeopath. He came from West Bengal, and people used to stood in queue to have one dose or two dose from him. In those days, he was known as one dose doctor. Rarely he gave two doses to anybody. My own younger brother two younger brothers, they were suffering from nephrotic syndrome. They were in the hospitals for a few months. In those time, here allopathic physicians, they were saying that we don't have any treatment, just give this steroid tablet to these two children, and they may feel better, but we cannot cure their disorder. My father used to go to that homeopathy doctor twice in a week to have one dosage, and in a 1.5 months or so, they both recovered from the nephrotic syndrome. Till today, after 50 years, they are okay. So in those days, this fear was not there that how homeopathy will survive. Having said or saw those results, so many people attracted towards homeopathy, but the teachers were not that good as were there in 50 years before. That's why the problem is coming up. And the teachers, those who are there in the colleges, they don't allow their students to go to the good doctors, to go to the good teachers. Those who have knowledge, they are not teaching, and those who don't have knowledge, they are teaching. That's why the
True.
fear is
Agreed.
there.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
more the colleges has come, more fear has come. In my own college, NIH Calcutta, almost 2,500 to 3,000 cases per day are there. 100 doctors are there to see all those patients every day, and many may be getting the results. In my time, we were having 200-300 patients per day, and people were coming from some states, Odisha, Bihar, Assam, even Bangladesh. Some patients were coming from Delhi even, but that fear was not there at that time. This fear is now, since there are too many students. They have come not for the sake of learning the proper or pure art, but they are coming for the sake of money. And when the money comes in between, purity goes away.
Solution.
Solution is proper, pure education, and allowing them to have the good sitting with the or seeing the results with the good doctors.
That's true.
I have some students in colleges in Jaipur. There are two doctors only in that college. When they have OPDs, all students, final year students and MD students, they stood just behind. Almost 30-40 students sits or stands behind to see how the doctors are seeing the cases. And the maximum OPDs are with those two doctors only. If in per day there is 200 patients in the OPD, 150 patients will be for those two doctors only. The rest of the 20 doctors will see 50 patients, and two doctors will see 150 patients. And that too with single medicine. In 90% cases, single medicine.
True, sir. True.
So,
True.
in my opinion, proper education, result-based education will solve the problem.
Can I share one case, sir? An excellent,
Please,
exactly, which
please.
was happened in our college days. I was the interim student. I mean, internee. First completed the medicine and joined first 3 months of posting as an internee in homeopathy medical college of where I studied in Andhra Pradesh. One clear cut, I could remember the picture of the patient. See, it was happened 26 years ago when I was completed my BHMS. That gentleman is having big belly with ascites. And on the bed, beside the bed, one big, say, 30 liters of water cans, 2. Beside that, 10 liters of water can, 3. Beside that, 5 liters water cans, 3. And beside that, 1 liter bottles, 4. Beside that, half-liter bottles 4, and whatever is the glass or small vessel he is having, he is filled with water. He kept beside his bed. You can imagine, almost there is a queue of waters in different size of bottles.
Mhm.
See, our doctor who treated, who is a company doctor, he has given, I think he has given acetic acid, I think. And
Mhm.
the next day, when we saw that guy, there is no ascites for his abdomen is totally sunken. And I
Flat.
surprised to see I'm switching for a patient who is there. Sunken means flat, abdomen became flat. Became flat. Then I saw that fellow, whole water, NSRka, whatever you call, we call it as NSRka or edema, everything gone away. Then I asked that fellow, what happened yesterday? Where is these bottles and all? What for they are? I asked, doctor, you know, I have a thirst like a ghost. Thirst like a ghost. I don't know what to say in your words. Pichi, very daham in Telugu, very daham,
Mhm.
like a mad thirst. That our teacher who has given dropsy with thirsty, dropsy conjugations with thirst. I think acetic acid is the drug. Only one single dose he has given.
Mhm.
Next day, he has become totally all right. And second or
Mhm.
third day, in spite of telling him not to discharge, he left against the medical advice. That's another story. But I asked that patient, what happened to you yesterday? Then after taking the medicine, he started secreting the urine, huge amounts of urine he passed. And whole water in the abdomen drained via the urine. You see, what is the pathophysiological change happened? We do not know. I don't know. But through urine, he left. But the same thing, if it happens in allopathic hospital via the Lasix injection, patient should go into hypokalemia. But in homeopathic treatment, he passed liters of urine, but he did not develop
Dr. Lakshmikant,
hypokalemia.
Dr.
Yes, sir.
Lakshmikant, you are
Yes,
giving the
please.
answer of your question, your queries. How homeopathy will be saved? Homeopathy will be
Yeah,
saved
yeah,
by
yeah,
these
yeah.
examples.
Yes,
And there are
yes,
four
yes.
medicines. There are four medicines for dropsy and huge thirst. Beside
Yes,
acetic acid, there are three more medicines. One is aconite,
yes.
another is apocynon,
Hmm.
and the third is arsenic.
Yes. Acetic acid was given. See, 26 years ago it was happened. I could remember the
And still,
such case.
you remember the case as if it is happening in front of you now.
Yes, 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 yes.
These results will solve the problem, whatever you are raising. How homeopathy and homeopathy, these results will say.
multiple such experiences should be exposed to the students. I feel in my heart, sir.
Am I allowed to share one case? Old case of
Please, sir,
ours.
please.
It was case
Please,
of
sir.
mitral stenosis. It was case of mitral stenosis. In 1989, that one boy was admitted in our hospital of NIH, Calcutta. He was having mitral stenosis. We were having one cardiologist, Dr. K. Chatterjee, and another cardiologist, Dr. Deepal. Deepal was MD medicine plus cardiologist. It was diagnosed that he is having mitral stenosis and he is supposed to be operated. Operation facility was not there in our hospital, but because of our interest in having the case, one of my friend took his case and admitted. One in a week or so, we couldn't give any result, any good. He was difficult to walk even. Having walking just 10 to 20 steps was giving him dyspnea. One day, when we were on the this ward tour, we saw that that boy was not on the bed. When we inquired where is he, then the nurse told that he has gone for toilet. We waited for a minute or two or three or five or 10, then he didn't come. When some of us went to the toilet here. Where is he? Let's see. Is it not that he has fall down in the toilet? Something wrong has happened to him. When we saw that he was standing at the gate of the toilet. When my friend asked, why you are not passing your loo and coming back? He said in Bangla that there are some people standing in the toilet and I cannot pass in front of them. You know what is this symptom?
Netromur.
Exactly.
Ah,
He was
yes, yes,
given
yes. There is a
Netromur in
symptom, Netromur.
he was given Netromur in millisimal 01. In just 2-3 days, his condition started improving, and after 3 or 4 months, is nothing, everything disappeared. He started running. Severe mitral stenosis. Our cardiologist used to say, "What has happened to this boy? How can he run?" And our cardiologist was not homeopathic cardiologist. Dr. K. Chatterjee was ex-HOD of Royal College of Cardiology, London, for 15 years. He diagnosed him, and he said, well, what is this happened? He said, I love these type of results. You come to our hospital. There are many nursing homes in Calcutta. He used to take us. You people see the cases. Just learn precisely and properly, and go back to your places and practice well. Such results will save the homeopathy and the new budding doctor. Hope is there, Dr. Lakshmikant. I think there's a good hope. And
yes, yes,
see,
sir.
there are other doctors, some from other parts of the world. They are so keen. They see Dr. Tikwa. I don't know how, about her age, but she's still at this age. She's learning, listening
Yes,
very patiently or quietly, as if she's in the first year of
yes,
the college. And see, Dr. Sanjay, he may be practicing homeopathy for last
yes,
40 years or so, but still that zeal of
yes,
learning. What Hahnemann has mentioned in the preface to uh, first edition of Organon, that learning homeopathy needs untiring zeal. We have legends with us. I hope there's a good chance.
yes, sir. Yes. We do all work for that.
Yeah.
It's a nice talk having to you, but all of you. And frequently I couldn't come for the sessions. Now and then, when the time permits, I do allow me for my absence frequently.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Even I was also I didn't plan that will I be able to attend or not. I thought I'll be very late, so I didn't say yes or no both. I thought I'll see. If I'll reach in time, I will attend. Anyway, it was good. Thank you, Tikwa, for your these efforts every time.
Thank
I
you.
learned. Dr. Sanjay
We
and
too.
Yeah. Okay.
so shall we end
Sanjay
today?
madam, all
Yeah.
yes, yes. We meet again,
It
sir.
was very nice, Lakshmikanji, to meet you here first time.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
And from where you are?
I'm from Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada.
Vijayawada. Okay.
Yes, yes. And I would like to, I'm happy to say that I was selected for junior research fellow in NIH. I stood first in the entrance examination they conducted. But AK Das, sir, I think, he is the head of the arsenic research. He
Das
is
was
the
my
head of
junior
the
in the
arsenic,
college.
Ashok Das.
Ashok Kumar Das. He was the head of that arsenic project in NIH. As I do not know Bengali, he refused to take me. And so that
These are environmental disorders.
So that no, I said goodbye to him, and I came back to Vijayawada. That's what happened. And NIH, I expected a rank, but never I was seen in the first 12 ranks. Even though I expected 6th or 7th rank, never I did. Never my name is appeared in that list. I thought something fishy is going on. I kept my mouth quiet and I walked
us-
out, sir.
Let us leave all those things for the. Let us stick to our learning.
Yes.
Just
Yes,
we
sir,
have
yes.
we have to keep good work going on.
Right.
Sincerely,
I agree
yeah.
with. I
Yeah.
agree with you, sir.
We have to do all sincere work, sincere learning, and sincere we have to treat our patient.
True,
We
sir.
cannot
Yes, yes.
bluff ourselves.
Yes.
No, we can bluff ourselves. Not we think that
Yeah,
we can bluff others, but actually we bluff ourselves.
yeah, but
Yes.
that is not what you call option for a good homeopath. Sincerity and hard work is only remedy.
Absolutely right, sir.
And whether anybody is with us or we are alone, we have to do that sincere work.
There is a saying in Urdu that अकेला चला था मैं कारवां बनता गया. Means I
वही तो
started
है
walking
सर.
alone. I
Yeah.
started walking alone, and people joined me, and they are now there are a huge crowd behind.
That's how we started with 2 people, Tikva and me, some 10, 12 years back. And we have a lot of young friends now.
Yes.
True motive and true start always have benefits. Shall we
Right.
end today?
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you very much,
Tikva?
everyone. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night,
Good
Tikwa.
Good night.
Good night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Tikwa, stop recording.